Hello, we're going to play Star Wars here today, and there's a few new things that this piece. To begin with, it has triplets. So if you look at the first three notes with the three over it, that means that those notes need to take place in one beat. So they have a beam on them like eighth notes, but with the three over them, that means they have to take place in one beat. So you know how these go, though, because you know how the song goes. So it's pretty easy to read this. And if you look through this piece, the triplets are everywhere. They're just everywhere. So it would go like this. 1, 2, 3. 4 triplet. 4 triplet. 4 triplet. 4 triplet. 2 triplet. 4 triplet. So they're all over the place. They're all over the place. Another new rhythm that we have that we haven't had before is in measure 9, you have a dotted quarter note. And a dotted quarter note, a quarter note gets 1. The dot next to it adds half of whatever it's on. So half of 1 is a half. So a dotted quarter gets 1.5 counts. So if I play measure 9, 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2, and then you play the eighth note that comes after that. Okay, the other weird thing that this has is in measure 15, we have out of nowhere a G minor scale coming down, and that has a bunch of new notes in it for us. And it sounds so cool, but there's some new notes. So for violins, this is the top line, and in measure 15 you have a G, which is second finger on your E string. E, first finger is F sharp, G is right next to that. So you have a G, that's the first note. But if you look at the next note, it has a natural sign on it. So it's not an F sharp, it's an F. An F is clear back where your string crosses over the peg box. And that's an F. So you have a G and an F, clear back. The next note is an E flat. E flat is fourth finger right next to your third finger on your A string. So there's your E flat. So G, F, E flat, then your D, C, not a C sharp, just a C. Then B flat, clear back where your string crosses over. Your first finger is clear back. B flat, then an A and a G. So you have, yeah, that's it. And violas, your notes, and the bottom part of measure 15 for the violin starts G on your D string. So you have a G, then an F, E flat, clear back, and a D, then a C, and a B flat, clear back. Second finger next to your first for the B flat, then an A and a G. So it sounds like this. Okay, and that just comes right out of nowhere. So let's start, and let's see if I can set my metronome here. I'm going to play the top line of the violin part. And I have my metronome set to 90. And I'll call out some measure numbers. 1, 2, 3. 12, it. That's Star Wars. Okay, now the second violin part, the bottom line of the violin line is the same as the bottom line of the viola line. So let's see, I think we don't have anything new here, and this one is pretty easy. So if you notice in measure 9, we have a pizzicato part. So prepare for that. And then in measure 15, we go back to our bow again, and that's arco again. So let's try it. Here we go. Here's the bottom line for violin and viola. 1, 2, 3. 14. Here's 15. 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so that's the violin and the viola parts. So let's do the cello part now. The viola line, the viola top part, you know how it sounds, but you have some notes on your C string, which I don't have. I don't have a C string. So figure out those notes. If you don't know where they are or what they are, there's a chart in the back of your book. But your first note is a D, and that's first finger on your C string. Okay, so violas, that's where you start. And here's the cello part. Cello, I need to help you with your measure 15. So measure 15 is the scale, and you have a G, you know how to play that, fourth finger, right? Fourth finger on your D string. Then you have an F, that's second finger. Your E flat is clear back by where your string crosses over out of your peg box. That's an E flat. Then you have a D, then you have a C, that's fourth finger. B flat is second finger. And then A is regular first finger, and then you have a G. So I'm going to play the bottom line of the cello part. And this is pretty simple. You do have those new notes in measure 15. But you guys have the march part. It's very cool. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here comes the scale. 15 and... Okay, and that's the cello part. Now, let me just check the bass part and see if the bass part on the bottom is the same. And it is. And it is. So there you have Star Wars. Thank you for practicing with me.